Good morning. Good morning, everybody. TGIF. Here we are. Here we are. Another week. Another week bites the dust. Oh, wow. Wow. And Kelsey's going a mile a minute over there. Holy cow, they're answering. Last I saw, they're answering 8 questions here in the last 2 minutes and haven't done the drawing yet, so we're going to have to take a look at the attendance here and see whether we should delay the class until the previous class ends. We'll see. But in the meantime, welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. I think that's where I am. Yeah. And go to me and drink it if you got it. I've been waiting for this. I haven't had a sip of coffee yet today. Love it. There's something about that first sip of coffee in the morning. Yeah. Okay. Let's fade out the band. And let me get my thoughts together here. It was an unusual morning this morning. Had my live stream last night. We had a good time. Ellen and Amy were both with us. We had the women represented last night. We had Peter, Tuka, Rick, and Peter, and we had a great discussion, a good time. It went for an hour and a half. I don't know what a conflict, if any, happens, because right before my live stream started, I noticed on my YouTube feed that Kerry Homestead Howe has a Q&A every Thursday at 7 p.m. I would hope that the Mitchfits would rather watch or be involved in the private community and not worry too much about missing any wisdom or something new that they might miss. Although I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't like to compete. But there's just not enough time and too many live streams, so it is what it is. But we had a good time last night, and I got kind of fired up. I was jacked up at the end of that thing. Usually by 8:30 at night, I'm starting to wear out because I usually get up at 4 something in the morning. Not last night. I stayed up. I mean, I just finally got to sleep. Actual sleep at around 11. Well, for the first time in quite a while, it was my alarm clock at 10 minutes to 6. And I set my alarm clock. And I never sleep that long, but I set it to make sure that if all else fails, I at least have enough time to get up and get ready for this live stream in the morning. And 10 minutes to 6, that thing woke me up abruptly. And you'll excuse me if for some reason maybe I seem like I haven't quite awakened fully yet. But I'm here. And I've been watching Kelsey for a little while, giving my eyes a chance to focus. But he's still going strong over there. Still got 131 people. And let's listen in for a second.
All our brothers and sisters to a level of becoming the doctor yourself.
Exactly. John Beatty Art says, when does the course go live? 10:15. 10:15.
Okay, so John Beatty is still over there at Kilts. I'm sure a lot of our people are. And it's unusual for him to go along like that. But how many people we got here? 54. I think that's enough. So, Kelsey, hope you have a great weekend. Alia, all the crew. And we're going to come back over here and not worry about it. I might keep an eye on it to see who the winner is, but let's pay attention to us. The Mitch Fits. Drink another sip of coffee. Really haven't even looked out into the world this morning to find out what's happening. I assume the government's still shut down. That's okay. It's beautiful. I went outside for a few minutes. It's gorgeous. It's definitely cooling here in the morning. It was breezy. Reminded me of those mornings when I used to stay on my boat in the fall and used to get up at the crack of dawn, go out on the deck, and being over on the water near the ocean, there was always a nice breeze. And this time of year, I remember, and it brings it back, just a feeling of that slightly cooler, drier breeze. And things like that do take us back. They do. Music takes us back. Certain feelings do. Certain feelings do. Well, Kilt's doing the drawing, so let's see who wins. Let's see who wins over there. Hey, Jerry! I don't know if you're here or there, but Jerry, you won. You won. Wow, wow. I don't know what you won, but congratulations, Jerry, in the middle of a forest. Wow, lucky Friday. Good, good. So I'm sure they'll be wrapping it up for a second, and the rest of the class will probably show up here. While we're waiting, Mandy Meadows was the first one in last night. Mandy, see you all soon, she says. And we have Jerry, the winner, last night. I'll be there with bells on. And a new prize. How about that? Pearl Grandma's here. How you doing? How are you? Peter, see you tomorrow. Robbie, Audrey. Robbie says, good evening, everyone. TGIF, yes. And Sue, Smokey Bear Lover, checked in yesterday. Rick. I'm ready for you, Rick. Checked in last night. Lady June from London, good morning. Patty's Garden. Thought I would check in before taking a nap, and that was at 4:07 a.m. So the early birds are awake. I was still sleeping. Brian Dish. Hi, Brian. How are you? Mike Silly Jr. is here. Michael Pregler. It's 4:05 up, and Adam. Mike Silly Sr. here in Melbourne, and it's 6:12 p.m. I made it to the computer. I got up at 10 to 6. By 6:12, I was dressed. The coffee was on, and I came in here to set up the live stream. And that's generally one of the first things I do when I start the live stream is put that little good morning message in. So here's a little trick to figure out, did Mitch sleep in this morning? And that is, look at the timestamp, if you can see it. You have to turn timestamps on if you want to see them in your chat. But what time did Mitch actually get up? Try to keep me honest. And Rick says good morning, and he was here. And Jem, hiya, Jem. Good morning, Mitch. And Mitch Fits, good video yesterday. Mitch in the kitchen. Which air fryer do you like? The newer one looked bigger. You look good in blue. Well, today I'm I'm wearing my brisketarian shirt. There it is. Because brisket never disappoints, and I'm in black today. The Carnivore. Approved influencer colors. These are with me in kilts. Gem, I like the, I really liked it, even though it's more expensive. I really like the Typher products, all of them. And that's what I tried to do yesterday in that little video, was for the first time. And I'm not really a big fan of using apps in your cooking at all, but with that combination of that wireless thermometer integrating with the air fryer and the simplicity of making sure that you don't ruin a $20 ribeye by overcooking it, I decided that was the first time I did it. So I didn't know what I was doing when I started making the video. I wanted to see how intuitive it would be. It's very intuitive, very easy to do. And some people like to be technical cooks. They like technology. They like the automation of it. They like the precision, especially. And you're right, the air fryer is bigger and it's shallower, and I love that basket, how easy it is to clean and how much food you can put in there. Now, it's just me. But a lot of times when I cook up burgers, for example, I'll put 5 of them in that thing. I won't eat all 5 of them, but I'll put them in the fridge. So I can have them cold if I want to. If I'm in the mood for a meal and I just don't feel like doing anything except going to the fridge, you all know how that is. I'm sure that you all know how that is. Chicken thighs, you can cook up a mess of those things and put the leftovers in the fridge. Bacon, God, put a lot of bacon in that thing. So I really like it. And I got a comment on that video, and I forget who it was, but somebody asked me, did you clean it yet? The self-cleaning feature of that thing, and the answer is no, and I need to do it. I'll probably do it today. I've had it, 2 months now, and I took a paper towel just to see what was going on, and I pushed and wiped around in there, around the coils and everything. It was almost no grease. But I'm going to clean it today, so it is the easiest thing. I love it. I love it. I'm going to be doing the review on their new one, the one that's taller, cheaper, has the built-in thermometer, which I think ought to be incredibly popular for people who don't have an air fryer. I wouldn't trade my Dome 2 for it, but for an air fryer that's going to be in the $150 price range from Typher, who makes the best quality products I've seen so far, with a built-in thermometer that you normally pay $100 for, the wireless thermometer, that seems like a no-brainer if you don't have an air fryer yet, or you don't really think that you want to spend the extra money. Now, the Typher Dome 2 right now is on sale for $349, down from $500. And with that code of mine, you get 10%. So it brings it down to just over $300. And I think if I had to choose between any air fryer and I could get that Typher for close to $300, I'd buy that. I would. Now, you can decide just how biased you think I am, but if you want to know how I really feel about these things, I've got like 7 air fryers. All you need to do is just come in and watch and see which one I actually use all the time. And that has become the Typher. I haven't, unfortunately, and the Ninja, especially that 651, had been my favorite air fryer for God knows how many years. I still have it on my counter, but I haven't used it since the day I got that Typher, and I haven't seen the need to. But it's fabulous. And if you got one of those, there's no way in hell I would say upgrade to the Typher. The Ninja, I'm still as impressed with it as I was. It's just harder to clean, that's all. And there's just nothing you can do about these flip-up lid air fryers. They just get all that gunk up there, and you got to put in the elbow grease to clean it. So, thank you for that, Jem. Ended up with some air fryer talk, which I hadn't intended. Brenda McIntyre is here. Hiya, Brenda. How you doing? I see Kilts is done. Okay. Kilts is done, and I'm still live, according to that. So, okay, and I'm waking up a little bit, but not enough yet. So, wow, 15 minutes go by. Let me get up to 7 o'clock in the morning. You were at 8:52. We got Brenda McIntyre. We got the winner. There's Jerry chimed in this morning. How are you? And says True Blue Mitch. Yeah, wear my one blue T-shirt I wore yesterday, and I think it's time for me. I think I'm almost ready to. I hate to buy clothes, but it's time for a new supply of T-shirts. My poor T-shirts are just getting so worn out, and especially around the collars, and so many of them. And so many of them are so big, because I've had them for years, that they're just starting to look raggy. So I don't know. Probably need to get some T-shirts, but if I'm going to get T-shirts, I need to get some that have terrific messages on them. Plus, Christmas is coming pretty soon. My kids always buy me these T-shirts. That's where I get all these National Sarcastic Society T-shirts and things like that. So maybe I'll wait and see what the Christmas haul is this year, because my kids know me and know my personality, and they also know if I was going to broadcast a message to the world other than maybe a middle finger, which would be kind of rude, they like to buy me these T-shirts. And Jerry says, good morning, everyone. And Jerry, let's see, we up to 7 o'clock yet? No, Chris Wayne from Australia, how you doing? Mitch's rest day, yes, coming up tomorrow. I never rest. I think I work harder on Saturday than any other day of the week. And I want to try to, I've changed it a little bit back towards the kitchen this week. I love, it's frustrating for me, guys. I think I am more of a philosopher than Chef Boyardee. But as far as audience appeal and things that people want to watch, things that require a lot of critical and deep thinking and require you to pay attention, try to follow my thinking, which has evolved over a lifetime, aren't as interesting as the practical videos. And the most practical videos that the carnivores seem to get from me, and I'm not a chef, and I don't make fancy recipes, because you simply can't in carnivore. There's only so many ways to complicate hamburger without adulterating it, and that is kind of counterproductive with carnivore. Yeah, there's recipes always require adding things. A recipe is not much of a recipe if it's only one ingredient in the whole thing. You just become cooking techniques. But people love to see me in the kitchen. So I'm probably going to start doing more of that and less of the kind of videos that maybe make our brains hurt trying to figure out what I'm talking about. But I still would rather be talking about things that give people insights and maybe understanding into what I think I've discovered over a lifetime as the actual, real causes of the things that we experience and the way we behave. And understanding those, why it happens, makes it make sense to a lot of people and helps you recognize the symptoms and understand that it, like cravings, that it is happening and why you're busy negotiating with yourself. It's okay to go to the drugstore to get the ice cream and maybe raid the fridge and eat the hamburgers and bacon that I told you to keep in there at all times whenever a craving hits, because we forget that. And it's those little hacks are the things that made me, for the first time in my life, be able to be successful on this. And that's why I started doing this YouTube stuff. You know, I made it work for me, you know, shout it from the hills, share the word. But you want to see me in the kitchen is going to be, I run out of new things to cook out of 3 ingredients, you know. It's tough. It's tough. And the brunt of my YouTube efforts these days is live streams in the morning, and just take it as it comes. But you can't grow or even maintain a YouTube channel with just, it becomes a podcast. That's a whole different thing. It becomes a whole different thing if you're just a podcaster. And you can see it in our community. Sean Baker, for example, has 2 different channels. One is his Sean Baker MD, and the other is his Sean Baker Podcasts. His podcasts get fewer views than my videos do. So since he's got 10 times the subscribers I have, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So I keep trying to figure out. The good news is, the one thing I don't keep trying to figure out every day is what changes I need to make to my lifestyle and my diet. That is the one constant. Every once in a while, I get an inkling of an idea, but I always end up settling back into the bacon and eggs, mostly beef, some fish and chicken, 1 or 2 meals a day, and I'm so content with that and so happy with it. And I don't see a need or want to change. I don't gain weight. I don't lose weight. I'm recovering from my stroke, which had nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, with carnivore. And that's life. That's life. Are we at 7 o'clock yet? No. But I'm fighting to get a half hour behind, guys. Be there pretty soon. No worries. Tammy, good morning, Tammy. Tammy joined us last night. How you doing? And Loretta also as well. Good to see you. Lori's here. Lori's here this morning. And good morning, Lori and Jeff Streslak. Good morning, Carnivore from Goose Creek, South Carolina. Good morning to you, Jeff. And Anthony, man, a few words is here. And again, don't you just get a little tired of this? Lambs! Lambs and Robbie, neck and neck. I don't see Robbie. Where's Robbie? Where's Robbie? But Lambs was the winner this morning, and followed shortly thereafter is Juliet. Wow, so close, so close. Coach Juliet Edens. Good morning, Juliet. How are you? Brian Dish chimed in real quick, and Marla Kelly chimed in. Patty's Garden, Lori again, Brian Dish again. Kate Renard, good morning to you, Don Schonger. And you got your quacks already, Rick. I don't know if you were here, but got quack to you this morning. Jeff S. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? And Jerry checked back in at 7:01. Brian and Rick and Jem again. Tired here, 4 a.m., loving the blues. I could sleep to this music. Yeah, I don't dare play that music in the morning. I'd never get out of bed. So we started to say hi to everybody. Peter checked in. Hi, Peter. Good morning to you. How you doing? And put some QQQs in the chat. In the chat if you would like. Bring something to our attention. Ask me a question. Introduce a topic of conversation that you think might stimulate the chat. Kind of like Beatles or Beach Boys. That stimulated a lot of conversation. That's good. That's very good. Even dumb questions. They're entertaining. Okay. So I said that it is Friday. I'm going to rename this Shameless Plug Friday. Why not? Why not? Somebody's got to do it. It may as well be me. I want to throw my little QR code up there for my Buy Me a Coffee in case anybody should be so moved to help me finish out the week with coffee money for the weekend, because you wouldn't want me not to have coffee over the weekend, and told me over till Sunday morning. So I'll put it up there. The link's in the description of the video. If anybody doesn't know or can't figure out how to work QR codes, but I won't bother putting it in the chat or pinning it or anything like that. That's my concession to decorum and not want to appear too mercenary. Where were we in the chat? 7:05. BMAT, Brian, good morning to you. I saw right at the end of the private community stream last night that you chimed in. I didn't get a chance to say hi. I was wrapping it up. So hi, man. I did notice you there. Good to see you this morning. Brian Dish says, the internet has introduced a lot of misinformation on all fronts. Oh, man. Right on, man. Ring the bell for that one. Now, misinformation and propaganda is not new, but the internet has, and social media has just given the human race a path to spread it at breakneck speed. And I got to tell you, I think it's one of our major problems these days. Just makes you use your own brain and experiences to find the truth. Yes, and the fact that things seem to be going downhill in so many areas, or not getting turned around with any speed that's going to be effective, like the high hopes that we all had that RFK was going to make America healthy again. I got news for you. It's almost a year. America is still, and getting increasingly less healthy, it seems, as the days go by. Not only haven't we changed the direction, we're lucky if we've even managed to put the brakes on a little bit. Now, that's not our community, but I'm talking about the fact that all the same junk is still filling up the aisles on pallets in the Sam's Clubs, and I haven't seen a thing change out in the real world. Once in a blue moon, you see something on the news about we're going to get Walmart's reducing the amount of red dye that they put, and even that for some reason, they used bologna and hot dogs as an example of the foods that had the red dye that we're trying to fix. They didn't say a word about the Skittles. It's a rigged system. The best we can do, and the most important thing we can do, is to try to help each other, help individuals that are open to it, which is another problem. They haven't been brainwashed so bad that there's no change. It is an ideology with them. There's no changing their mind. They have to arrive at it themselves. Best we can do is change minds one at a time. But I don't know about you, but I'm running out of years. I don't think in my lifetime we're going to de-addict the human race from the strongest addiction that's possible, the addiction to carbohydrates. I just don't think so. We can't fix the drug problem. We can't fix the alcohol problem. What makes us think, in the face of all of this corruption and propaganda, that we're going to fix the oldest and strongest and most controlling addiction? We can't even get people to admit it is an addiction. And you know what they say about Alcoholics Anonymous is it can't do anybody any good until they actually stand up there and admit to the world that they have a problem. People in this world who are sick, who are more and more drugs, more and more medical expense, still have not acknowledged the fact that they have a problem. Oh, they know they're fat. They know that they're sick. But they are not blaming their lifestyle or food. They're still convinced that they eat a healthy diet. And that's the first thing you hear these people say. Hi, Doc, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I eat healthy, and yet I'm still fat and sick. Redefining this ingrained notion of what healthy eating, fruits and vegetables and whole grains and low fat, until we break the association in people's minds of that words healthy diet and that crap, we can't fix anything. And we're not fixing anything. So we have to stick together. 100 of us or so, 120 of us, get together in the morning and pat ourselves on the back and say we become the enlightened few. I hate to say it, but that almost sounds like a cult, doesn't it? And in that respect, healthy, truly healthy eating lives in the realm and purview of a cult. Because what is a cult? It's defined as a group of people whose actions are contradictory to what is accepted by everybody else. So once again, you've got the brainwashing of the masses in all things. Religion and politics and diet. Who's the best football team? Which pickup truck is better? Willing to fight to the death for their side. And our side right now appears to be a cult. And it's no wonder that people use that in their propaganda to make us look foolish. And they call it a cult. Peter says, Lambs, listen, if you have a PayPal. I do have a PayPal account. My PayPal account is my Gmail address. OldGuyCarnivore at gmail.com. How about that easy? Just that easy. I've had the PayPal account since the beginning of PayPal. But PayPal, in case you didn't know it, will allow you to, other than your regular email address, they will allow you to create an alias email address in case you don't want to publicize your long-standing email address, like I don't. And so I made an alias for my PayPal account. It's the OldGuyCarnivore at gmail.com Gmail, and it works. It works, and thank you very much. Thank you very much, in case you're interested. Did anybody buy me any coffees yet this morning? It looks like they did. Wow. Wow, wow. See, you're right, Dad. I still talk to my father. My father's been gone since 1990. 35 years. I still talk to him. Still talk to him. John Beatty bought me 5 coffees. John, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Happy Friday, Mitch, she says. Thank you, my friend. You made my day. I see how little it takes. Not that that's little, that's a lot. But thank you. Thank you. But just knowing somebody cares, so whether there's money or not involved, it makes me happy. It makes me want to keep going. And I'm certainly not doing this for the money. I laugh about that, but I have other things to do for some of my clients with my time, where I actually make tremendous money for my time. I don't have to work, if I didn't want to, more than a couple hours a week to make 10 times the money I make from doing all this YouTube stuff. This has got to be. I sometimes have to have a talk with myself, say, Mitch, why the hell do you do this? And then I always end up with it's become my life. It's my. It makes me relevant. So the support from people who stick with me is so very meaningful. And I try to keep thanking you guys and try to keep letting you know how much it means to me. I don't think you can say that too often. Thank you so much for the coffees. And Peter's going to go on a date. Peter, go get him, kid. Go get him, kid. Tell us all about her. Come on Sunday morning with me. Come on here. On Sunday morning, we have an open panel for everybody, not just private community. Everybody, anybody wants to come in. We have a good time. Come in on Sunday morning, Peter, and tell us all about it. Tell us all about it. Well, shit, Peter, you can't come on Sunday morning. You're going to be on your date. My coffee date is set for Sunday at 9 a.m. Who the hell makes dates? First dates. That's what a coffee date is. For those of you who have never internet dated. You're talking and you're looking at the king. The undisputed champion of internet dating. Me. I sometimes wonder if I shouldn't become a stand-up comedian. Because I've got material. And the internet dating world can give you enough material to build a career on. I might be the next Rodney Dangerfield. I certainly got no respect internet dating. But if you ever want to truly learn the depth of the lies and deception that the human race is capable of in the quest to fulfill the strongest addiction and urge any animal is imbibed with, internet date. And I'm not talking about just women. I mean, if I was a woman, I would say all the same things about men. The things people will not do to find a mate. And that's a very politically correct way of saying get laid. The depths they won't sink, the lies they won't tell, the deceptions they won't come up with. Pictures so old, you don't recognize the person. I mean, coffee dates I went on, where I'm sitting there in the coffee shop waiting for the future woman of my dreams to show up. Because you have to do it in a public place. You never know who you might be meeting. Jack the Ripper, for God's sake. And some old lady comes up to me and says, "Are you Mitch?" My first inclination is always to say to them, Yeah, and you are? And I'm surprised that I don't recognize them from their picture. And I try to always be kind to these. I feel sorry for these. And men are worse than women at it. A woman, a nice-looking young woman, looking for a companion in life, looking for a soulmate, ends up emailing and talking on the phone for months, getting to really know somebody, getting to try to really learn a lot about them. People actually fall in love with the mental image of the picture from the dating profile. People are scammed left, right, and center because of that. Phishing, these dating scams, the stuff that big internet websites are made out of. Scam bait fish. It's a thing. It's a thing. And you finally get up the courage to have a meeting or talk them into having a meeting, because they know when they finally meet you that the honeymoon is over, that they are nothing like they have led you to believe. And you're a beautiful young lady, and you go walk into that Panera Bread or that Starbucks, and your grandfather comes in to meet you. And in my case, my grandmother came in. And they think because they're so charming and because you've enjoyed such repartee on the phone and hours of joy and laughter and conversation, anticipating that moment that you all see in the TV commercials where the two people are running towards each other across the field in slow motion with the music playing, and you leap in the air into each other's arms, and that's it. Your life now has meaning. Anticipating that moment, and in comes your grandfather with a cane or a walker. So self-deluded that he really thinks he still looks like that 40-year-old picture that he put up. That's internet dating. So, Peter, good luck. I did that from the time I got divorced in 2004, right up until about 5 years ago. Hundreds of women looking for my soulmate, because I was married all my life. I spent 35 years of my life as a married man. I always assumed that was normal. That was the way it had to be. I couldn't be complete or happy unless I had a partner. And my search for a partner was epic. Epic. And I never worked. Never worked. And then you reach a point. You reach a point where you just grasp, you say, well, this is the reality of it. And you know what it does for me? It makes me envy anyone that's been married, even if they say they're miserable and they're always fighting. If they've been married for 50 years, 60 years, like some of our parents or grandparents, they met their match when they were very young, high school sweethearts. They've grown old together. Maybe the sexual aspects of it have worn off or calmed down or gone away. But there was a friendship, a connection that built over a lifetime. When they think of their spouse in their mind, the mental picture they have is of that young person that they met. That never changes. And when you can see that in the eyes of older people who've been married so long, when they look at each other, you can see it in their gaze at each other, that they're looking at the younger version. They still see the younger versions of themselves. And I decided that was one of the things that was missing from trying to find that connection when you're 60, 65, 70, which I did. Because the only picture you have in your mind of that, the love of your life, let's say, is of your grandmother or grandfather, because that's what they look like when you first met them. And I think, if you think about it that way, that's why we all, now some of us say, well, our second marriages were so much better. Yeah, it's possible. But there'll never be anything like the lucky few people that meet their soulmates early in life. I'm convinced of it. There's always exceptions to a rule, but I'm firmly convinced. I never found it. And then when you get into your late 70s, you finally reach a point and say, well, just like businesses, at this point in my life, I got to call an end to the hunt for my future, because this is my future. Maybe it's time to just give a sigh, understanding. You have your memories, and make the best of what you got left. That's reality. So there's a little dating philosophy this morning for Peter. Peter's still young enough. Good luck, because it does happen. I do know some people that have met late in life on the internet, out of the gazillions of them that tried, that were in the right place at the right time and just got lucky. Now, I haven't gone back 10 years later to see what really happened, but sometimes brief periods of happiness in life, if that's all you're going to get, are certainly worth going for. And I've had, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I've had more brief periods of ecstasy in my life than most men ever experience. And we'll leave it at that. So I'm kind of content. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. John Beatty, Friday Coffee on your phone. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate that. Very generous. Very generous. Okay, I am way behind in the chat as usual, but we have 116 people on a Friday morning, and I hope you're finding this a little bit interesting and allowing me to philosophize a little bit about some things that you just can't learn. No matter how smart you are, you just can't learn until you've been through it over and over and over. But I'm relaxed. I'm feeling good. I'm finally fully awake. Yes, sir. Everybody's congratulating Jerry for winning. What did you win, Jerry? I better get running here. The question for the Gem says, is the new one self-clean air fryer? No, it's not. It doesn't have the self-cleaning mode. I don't think any air fryer has it except the Typher, and at that certainly at the $150 to $200 price point, you're not going to find it. How hard it is to clean is debatable. The nice thing about it, it's a basket style, but it's got unlike the Typher, you don't need to be reaching up in there, standing on your head with steel wool, trying to get the polymerized stuff off of stainless steel, which is the typical experience. The interior of that Dome 2 air fryer seems to be mostly ceramic and designed to be cleaned with high heat, like an oven. The basket on the Dome 2 isn't as tall. So it means if you had to clean the Dome 2 by turning it upside down, you'd have a real problem, because this kid's oval would be rocking all over the place, and there's not that big an opening to see through. The new Typher air fryer has a very tall basket. In fact, that's one of the things that they push. They push you can cook a whole chicken. You can roast a whole chicken at one time. And between the special programs it's got, that's roasted at different phases of cooking, slow cooking the chicken to keep it juicy, and then high heat for a short periods of time to crisp up the outside, and a built-in thermometer to make sure that everything goes right according to plan. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to cook up a whole chicken. Sometimes I wonder why you would do that these days with Walmart, Sam's, and Costco selling chickens for $5 already cooked, except they usually adulterate them with seed oils and other crap. So if you really want to do a chicken, it might be a great thing. But because it's got a big wide opening and it's got a flat top, you can put the thing on its lid and very easily clean in there. Plenty of room to look in, see in, you know. So when I do my review of it, which I haven't done yet, I just did an unboxing, I'll certainly explore how hard it is to clean. And it may be, I haven't made up my mind yet, I haven't used it yet, but it may be that this thing is the new go-to for an inexpensive air fryer for anyone on the carnivore diet. We'll see. But the fact that it's got what would be an expensive wireless thermometer integrated into it seems to make it a bargain. When I first saw the specs on it, I said, wow, that's going to take over. We'll see. There's a lot of air fryers out there, and most of them do a great job. And if you got one that works and cooks the food the way you like it, why would you want to throw it away and get a new one? Well, maybe I would, because that's me. I gotta do the same thing with cell phones. Every time the new model comes, I gotta have it. But not everybody is sick like me in that way. A tech junkie, a tech addict. I know you guys are talking, okay, wow, here's a question. Here's a real Francine question. Mitch, can you explain the importance of taking electrolytes? Thank you. Yeah, Francine, it may not be important for some people. You got to, I wouldn't take anything unless you have a reason to take it. I wouldn't just say, well, only time I really break that, I think, is with a drop or two of iodine. Because I'm pretty well convinced that iodine deficiency is a good prophylactic measure and really can't hurt you. Peter says he liked the idea of putting the QR code up there. Yeah. Talk about making yourself look commercial. Here I am. I have all kinds of QR codes, but that's the coffee one. Yes, StreamYard gave us that. That's a new feature. They allow you to make a QR code and put it up there. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. And shameless. Shameless. But Francine, some people don't need to take electrolytes, but it's kind of weighs in favor of taking them for the same reasons that I take the iodine, and that is knowledge of how current farming is ruining the soil, and the animals we eat may not be getting the sodium, potassium, magnesium from the soil that they used to get, especially when they ate the grass that grew in the soil that they themselves fertilized. So you can almost assume, but then you have to factor your lifestyle into it. Well, do you sweat a lot? Do you work hours in the garden and the sun outside, sweating? How much hydration do you need? Do you get plenty of salt in your diet without taking the exogenous electrolytes? what does your body tell you? Do you crave saltier foods? Do you like them? Does that make you happy? Because if you salt everything, which is something that I've always done, read your body's messages to you. Your body doesn't speak English. Your body speaks pain and pleasure, desires and addictions. Because if you didn't have a brain that was conscious, you'd still have to be able to somehow be motivated by these signals and interpret them, like every animal on the planet does. It doesn't know that it likes to add salt. It just feels the need to go to a salt lake and get some salt in it. We have very intricate control mechanisms to balance out our electrolytes and urge us in one way or another to make sure we eat them or we die. And the human beings are the only animals, and the biggest mistake human beings have ever made is in the arrogance of thinking, and this is going to offend a lot of religious people, that somehow they didn't come from animals and don't run on the same basic physiology that goes back even as far as the cousins of the plants in your flower garden. And all you got to do is look inside a cell, and you'll find it's identical in most cases. And if you're one of those people that keeps telling me, stop telling me that we evolved from monkeys. How come there are still, if you know, fine, believe what you want to believe. I don't care. But if you're looking for real answers, you got to come into the real world. Fortunately, most really religious people today have accepted that fact and don't want to kill everybody that believes in evolution. But there are still way too many of those people. And I can't change their minds, and I don't want to. But if you ask me a question about why do I need electrolytes, and I'm trying to explain the answer in real terms and actuality and things that I think is how it really happened, I have one or two possible answers. One is to try to explain the fabulously complex reason why you may or may not need electrolytes, or simply say, that's what God wants you to do. I choose not to insult your intelligence. So, back to the question. It might be important to you, it might not be. The key is, do you need them? If you need them, they're important. There are signs and symptoms. There are blood tests. Although, with some of the electrolytes, we store them. And the blood tests do not tell us what our stores, how much we have in reserve. They only tell us the level in the bloodstream, which is very tightly regulated, incredibly tightly regulated. So you might be running out of electrolytes or on a very fringe, and the amount in your bloodstream may appear that it's okay. But we have signs. We have instincts and urges, cravings. And one of those, the most important for salt, is our taste. So, you want to know if you need salt? Do you want salt? Your brain rewards you when you do something right. You get pleasure. Does it taste better when you salt it? Can you get your doctor's nagging voice out of your head that has you denying yourself the pleasure because he's convinced you that is dangerous for you if you eat salt and raises your blood pressure. The only thing that matters is what do you really want to do. Now, I don't think people get addicted to salt because the argument with sugar, well, I want to eat sugar. Now, that's a difference. But I don't think people are addicted to salt like they're not addicted to red meat. It's not a substance that has been used against us. Salt is a substance that we've seeked out since the beginning of time because we need the electrolytes. Now, electrolytes are just, they're electric. A battery, the battery in your car, can't work without electrolytes. That's why they're called electrolytes. What they do is facilitate the flow of electricity, the flow of electrons. Without electrolytes to act as a catalyst to move the electrons along, they're not moving. They're being stopped by some insulator or others. So in that respect, you could say that water could be considered an electrolyte because you take something dry and it won't conduct electricity, you make it wet, it will conduct electricity. Well, we run on electricity at a cellular level. We are electric. At the very heart of it all of our energy ends up with electrons and protons being swapped across membranes and powering things and causing physical work. All of our proteins that move our muscles and do all the functions of our body are actually tiny molecular electric motors powered by ATP. That's the basic chemistry. We are electric. Every function in our body requires electrolytes of one form or another, especially the electrical impulses that travel in our nervous system and control our heartbeat and other things. You don't have electrolytes, you die. You die. So they're very important. How do we know how much we need or whether we need it? That's an individual thing. And I don't think anybody can really tell you or answer that question. So they come up with basic guidelines, and those guidelines say, well, if you play tennis for 5 hours and you sweat it out 6 courts, chances are you need to hydrate and eat electrolytes. And boom, we have Gatorade. What an excuse to sell people sugar-laden crap. Oh, I'm sure there's a little bit of sodium and potassium in there, but it's a drink that caters to your addiction. That's what it does. Because, my friend, if you were going to really be concerned about just the health aspects of drinking electrolytes, they would not taste sweet. There'd be no sugar in them. They would be salty. Because that's what electrolytes are. They are salts, all of them. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, magnesium chloride, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate. All of these things are salts, and they all taste salty. And they taste salty, and we like to eat salty things because that's how we were compelled to consume electrolytes, because of the salty taste. That's why we get addicted to salty snacks. That's why the food companies can not only use sugar against us to addict us to these foods, because of our natural instinct to need sugar at times of famine for survival, but they got us in a salt front too because of the natural, ancient instinct of animals to seek out salty tasting things. That's where the electrolytes are. All of it. Everything we do. I hammer this point home, and nobody talks about this. Nobody gets it. Know the why. Why are we so easily manipulated by people, scientists who know what they're doing and use it to make us sick, suffer, and broke, and control us, leading us around by the nose because of our ancient, uncontrollable actions that we do simply to follow those instructions that keep us alive. So we want salty snacks. Then they figured out, oh, this is even better. If we mix just exactly the right ratio of salt and sweet taste, and then give it the right mouthfeel, we can create a quasi or pseudo food that pushes every button of human physiological need, will addict the human animal to the point where they cannot live without it. And that, my friends, is the definition of Doritos. Pushes every button and yet has zero nutrition. And welcome to the world of food science and the control of the human race and the killing off of the human race by the greedy, evil people who bring you Snackwell's cookies, Doritos, Nabisco, and the drug companies like Pfizer, who are standing right there to hook you in once you've on the road to death and suffering, and the whole entire medical community right there to take more of your money and money you don't have and prescribe drugs to treat your symptoms while you slowly die a painful and agonizing death. But when you sit down to watch that football game, by God, you got your bag of Doritos and your bevy of prescription pills. And we let them do that to us. Why did we let them do that to us? Don't we care? Evidently not. I know there's 118 of us right now that might care. But this is the world. This is what they're doing to us. And their feed is full of every kind of propaganda, every kind of news, every kind of instigation to get us riled up, to make sure that this never changes. And they got the money to buy that. So the answer is, all we want to do is live a nice, simple, happy life. How do we do that in this world? Find the stuff we need. So the question, and I went down a rabbit hole again, how do I know if I need electrolytes? Well, there's a couple of real light cramps. You know, you get light cramps at night, you might need more magnesium. There's symptoms of it. You can look them up. You know, go to Google. They're pretty well known. Most of them are pretty true. But the most important thing is to, and I'm not a real blood test fan, but if these electrolytes start showing up really low in your blood, then you're pretty sure of it. So you might get a blood test and check out your potassium levels, your calcium, all the, magnesium, sodium. Make sure you salt all your food to taste, and you don't listen to your doctor's stupid advice about being on a low salt, low fat diet because you're worried about a heart attack or high blood pressure. It's been debunked, but it doesn't fit their narrative. And the AMA is certainly not going to come to save you, that's for sure. None of these associations care about anything except their members and supporters that are businesses. They are associations to promote business for their supporters, not They may call themselves the American Heart Association, but they're not concerned about your heart. They're concerned about all the people who make money selling things to make you think they care about your heart. In reality, I don't know, the American Medical Association, all those things. Most associations, when they're first formed, believe it or not, are trade associations. Associations of farmers, truck drivers, not people that care about you before their own needs. Propaganda mills is what they are. Create narratives that suit their own agenda. Got to be the ultimate cynic these days to keep them getting run over. And even then they run you over. Anyway, I can't give you, Francine, I want to give you a definitive answer about electrolytes. I'm not the guy, maybe Ken Berry or Sten Ekberg has a good video on the subject that goes into real detail. But for me, I take them every day because I assume that the food that I'm getting doesn't have them. I don't take massive doses. I try to eat high electrolyte foods like bacon. The Wright's bacon has almost 100 milligrams of potassium per slice, but you need 4,000 milligrams a day, they say. And then we don't know if the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, is bullshit or more propaganda, like everything else. Try to figure out the most important thing. Read your body's cues. I know it's hard to turn your mind off and examine your desires and your feelings without mistaking those manipulated ones, like sugar cravings, with real ones, like the desire to salt your food. But you got to think about it in those ways. That's the best I can say. Well, we got a long speech out of it anyway. Wow, it's 8:12 already. Where the hell does time go? I still got a little coffee left, and thanks to Francine, who bought me this coffee warmer. It's still hot. Thank you, Francine. Anything I can do. I'm so far behind in the chat. I'm an hour behind. I mean, this is absurd. What marvels me is, where do I come up with all this stuff? How do I have so much to say? I don't know. Jippin says she likes the kitchen videos, but the informative videos as well. Thank you. I pontificate a lot on these live streams, but I think in a video, you gotta keep the length down. There are some certain habits that people have who watch YouTube, which you have to acknowledge are real. And one of them is, somebody sees a video is 2.5 hours long, you're likely not to click on it. There is a sweet spot, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. My videos tend to get up to 20 minutes because I'm trying to cook something. It just takes that long to go through the steps. But I could edit them down to 10 minutes. I edited yesterday's video. I edited out a lot of the time while the cooking was going on. And I wasn't talking, and it came out to be fairly reasonable. But again, that video, I don't even know if it's got up to 1,000 views yet. That's nothing on YouTube. Nothing. Meaningless. Look at the views that some of these idiot videos get. 600K. 1.2 million views. People aren't interested in this. This is not, what we talk about is not on the forefront of everybody's mind. Even Ken Berry, with 3-point-something million subscribers, 30, 40K average on these videos, if that. That's not a lot of views. When you think about and look at these videos. They get millions of views from people like Mr. Beast, PewDiePie. These people have no, as far as I'm concerned, redeeming societal value and contribute absolutely nothing except stupid entertainment for dumb people. It's disheartening to figure that anybody with a brain is so outnumbered by these stupid people that know nothing. You lose all respect for the human race in general. And we are dumbing down. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about it. And I think the main reason is the food. Kilt had an interesting statement this morning, which I disagreed with him and his guest. The question was asked, which comes first? Which is more important? The proper mindset or the proper diet? And Kilt said, well, the proper mindset has to come first. The question was, what's more important to a proper mindset? A healthy brain, what you need first, or a healthy diet? Can you have the healthy brain smart enough to figure what the healthy diet is until you actually do the healthy diet first, whether it be by design or accident, which then, with a healthier brain, you can think more clearly. It's a chicken and the egg question. But not quite. Not quite. It seems to me the most important thing to fix first would be the diet. How could anybody not think? How are you going to convince somebody with a broken brain, bad memory, and a faulty processor to grasp the concept enough to change their diet? You can't come to the right answer with a broken calculator. I don't care how much you want to. It's just logic. That's the way I think of it, the way I look at it. Fix the machinery first, and then you can expect it to run like a well-oiled Okay, I don't know what happened. Everything just quit. I doubt if anybody's still here. It says I got 88 people still here. Wow, wow, wow. All of a sudden, everything just went away. And I had to reboot my whole computer system and reset up the live stream, and it was still there and still going. So it still says I got 88 people watching. I can't believe you all hung in there long enough for me to come back. Holy cow. Holy cow. Let me finish setting this up so I can see what's going on here. That's a first. I've never had one just completely crap out. I don't know if it was my internet connection or what, but the rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated, as they say. Mitch, it's you. Yeah, I just got home. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, great recovery time, Mitch. Oh, I'm excited. What is it? You know, could be anything. You got to troubleshoot it. I had to real quick say what's working, what isn't. Evidently, something happened. I don't know, was the internet or what, but I lost all connection to the outside world. The chat wouldn't work. I tried to make an entry in the chat. It just says chat is offline. I figured the quickest thing I can do, reboot the computer. That usually solves it. Everything booted up. The internet was there. I went ahead and I didn't think I'd ever get back from this. I was about ready to get at my cell phone because with StreamYard, interestingly enough, the stream doesn't end if the host disappears. It takes quite a while for StreamYard to say, well, I guess it's over. We can stop sending it out now. And you can generally get back. So I knew that unless something, the world blew up and we were in World War III, that I could get back, and I opened the StreamYard app, and the stream was still there. I logged into it, and it said I'm still live. So I had to set up all the OBS stuff again, and now I'm going to go in, and if you bear with me 1 second, I'm going to go in here to my, let me show you that. To go in here to my page here and say live, and I want to see this is my morning coffee, and get through the ad. Okay, get through the ad and skip the ad, and there I am live, and now I can see the chat over here back on YouTube. There you go. That's great. I'm sorry it took so long. People watching a replay, but right mid rant, mid rant. All of a sudden, over here on this screen right here, where I'm moving the mouse, I got the circle. You know the circle you get when it's thinking, and then everything went out. So I'm back. I'm back, and here we go. So I'm back just in time to. Maybe it's time I should wrap it up. Maybe it's an omen. Yeah. Now listen, guys, it's Friday. It's Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for actually sticking around. Most of you did. It went from about 120 to about 80. So most people gave me the benefit of the doubt, or else weren't paying attention anyway. And I was just on the TV in the other room, and they didn't notice. But the QR code is visible. Yeah, Laurie said 821. Yeah, so you guys kept chatting. The chat never went away. See, the whole time I was gone. Come back. Oh, this is great. Booey, frozen. Mitch, you're frozen. Mitch, you're frozen. Well, I guess it's not my computer. Oh, this is great. This is great. But at least the chat was still alive. So there's, in case I disappear, you guys can continue as if nothing happened and keep talking. No wonder you all stayed around. That's great. I didn't know if the chat, if the whole StreamYard thing crashed too. I didn't know that at first. But I think I'll never catch up. I think I'm too late to answer any more questions. So I think I'll just wish you all a great weekend. Play a little happy music, because I still have the happy music. It's all working again. I don't have to spend the rest of the day trying to troubleshoot it. Remember, if all else fails, reboot. There's a life lesson there somewhere. If only we could do that in real life. But at least we can do it on our computers. I jumped in Dubai Coffee. I'm listening but working. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Let me see. Speaking of coffee, let me see if there's other thank yous that, yes. Wow. You guys are absolute best. We got, holy cow, look at this. Again, John Beatty, thank you so much for 5 coffees. I appreciate that. Barry Simon, have a great weekend. It's going to be 10 coffees. Wow. Did I say wow? Thank you, Barry. Julia, Coach Juliet Edens. Juliet, I'm getting such a kick out of seeing you become more and more popular. And I think you're doing a great job. Just never forget who was number 1. Don't ever forget that. Don't forget who was number 1 on your live stream. It was me. I'll keep reminding you. Nah, good to see you doing well. Thanks for 5 coffees. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And Francine B bought me 3 coffees. Have a nice day. Thank you, Francine. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. Keep reminding me that there is somebody in the world that actually gives a damn about old Mitch. And makes me feel, I don't feel lonely, but I probably could. Without this and without you guys, I probably would be lonely. So that's more important than about anything. My kids, they have their own lives. You guys are my community and becoming my family. Thank you so much. So have a great weekend. I will probably put out a video over the weekend or 2, or not. Depends on whether how the spirit moves me. And we'll see you Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And we'll have the open panel. And we'll do it again. Until then, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.